Okay, it's still red. Do I press it again?
You're on.
Oh, good evening, Tina. This is Steve Ferguson. You were the person who sent the email to me regarding the SDR position at your organization. I'll start by speaking about my role at the Federal Buyer's Guide. My role at the Federal Buyer's Guide, I was a manager and salesperson for 6.5 years. And I also was the top salesperson in the organization. We did have four companies at one time, four divisions, a couple of them in California, one in Florida, and I was in the New York market. The objective for our organization was to get 10,000 in sales every month. And while that may not sound like a big deal, when you think about the government market, which is what we were pursuing, to get those numbers, you really had to work hard and consistently. I was always over the quota. I never once missed my quota. In fact, there were a couple of months in the course of my time there where I actually made double the quota, which was over $20,000 during the course of the month, while I was teaching people how the pitch to use in the organization and how to deal with rejections and objections for that matter, and keep a positive attitude and energy, which is essential, I believe, to be a really good salesperson. I think one of my assets going forward is my attitude, which is very positive overall and energetic, and I have a will to win that very few people have. I think the combination of my energy and effort is part of the reason I've become an excellent salesperson in the course of my career, but also I have a never say die attitude. I look at sales almost the way some people look at a baseball game in the course of a month. You have 20 to 25 days in a month to sell, and there may be a few days, 4 or 5 days, maybe where you get absolutely nothing, maybe even 2 weeks where you go through that. But you keep in mind what the goal is, and you work toward that. And that's how I've always been able to maintain my patience in doing sales and my energy level. I think positive almost all the time. And I take rejections as well as I can. I think most of us do who are successful in sales. But one thing I never do is give up completely. And if that means calling an organization 3, 4, 5 times to try to figure out what it would take to get them to work with me, I'll try to figure that out. One of the reasons I think I was also very successful at the Federal Buyer's Guide, all the salespeople had the option to call up our office in California and ask for leads. And by that I mean we would go and look for keywords in a company's definition to see where we could help them. We had 15 online guides and 4 print guides. So once I gave the keywords to the people in the group in California, they would send me leads back, which then I could tell the potential client, these are the leads we have for you. Sometimes, of course, it may not pan out exactly, but they would at least be more interested knowing they had leads and response, which a lot of these companies I work with did not have that information at all before I contacted them. And I also sought ways to try to improve their sales. If they had been doing primarily print advertising and very little came of that, perhaps I would suggest the online advertising for six months to a year. And with other clients, I would suggest doing both print and online, so that would increase their volume of leads as well. I also think, in addition to that, my energy level is definitely one of my top reasons I'm a good salesperson, but also cold calling, which was essential to the job. I would do 50 to 70, 80 calls a day, unless I had a lot of sales that day. And there were days where I would have 5 or 6 sales in a given day. But otherwise, I worked my tail off calling people, emailing them, and getting with them in any way I possibly could. And I think all of those are key assets to the reason I'm a good salesperson. And I'm looking forward to working with your company and developing my sales pitch and style that works, and also being a great contributor to your organization going forward. Tina, I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you. and I'm looking forward to the next step in the process, which would be to meet somebody in your organization, perhaps yourself. Thank you, Tina. Have a great day. Bye-bye.